Welcome to China Unscripted. I'm Chris Chappell.
I'm Shelley Zhang.
And I'm Matt Ganeshta.
And joining us today is Desmond Shum, author of the new book Red Roulette, an inside story of wealth, power, corruption, and vengeance in today's China. Desmond and his ex-wife Whitney Duan did business with the highest levels of the Communist Party elite, until one day in 2017, the party disappeared Whitney with no explanation. Desmond's book talks about their rise and fall and exposes China's hidden corruption. Desmond, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So, Desmond, your new book, your new memoir, Red Roulette, just came out. Why do you think the Chinese Communist Party is so afraid of the book?
I think it's the first time, really it's the first time somebody have that intimate interaction with them, actually come out to tell a story. So, same as your program, Unscripted story by the CCP, right?
Yeah. Well, you had like firsthand knowledge, and you were there as, the West kind of, the whole economic buildup of China. You saw that all happening. Right.
Yeah. I think one of the things interesting is, as I have said, my rise mirrored the rise of China.
Well, and on that topic, I know the Chinese Communist Party put a lot of pressure on you to make sure, or to try and convince you not to publish this book. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
The Friday before, Wall Street Journal and Financial Times both published a story on her situation and of my upcoming book.
On your ex-wife.
Yes, yeah, Whitney's situation and my upcoming book. And then she called me. I got a call. She called my cousin, and then she called my mom because it was middle of the night on Sunday morning. So the two of them text me and said, well, Whitney called them and asked me to call her back. So that was...
Which was unusual because the Communist Party had detained your ex-wife. How many years ago was that?
4 years ago. I picked the publishing day of my book, to be on the anniversary of her 4 years disappearance.
Yeah. Why did they detain her again?
Nobody knows. They actually even never acknowledged they have taken her. So her parents, I kept in touch with her parents. Her parents, never heard a word of them from the government. I keep telling them, you should maybe try to go to the police, just say, well, we have a missing person, and see what's the reaction. But they were too afraid. They didn't never go to the police. And her mom, ring her phone every day. And obviously the phone line was dead.
So she just disappears, no explanation. And you two have a young son who was 8 years old at the time, I believe.
Right.
You haven't heard anything from her.
Nobody have.
Yeah, until now, right before your book gets released.
That's right.
What did she say to you?
Well, she actually, we asked her to talk to my son. It was 6 o'clock in the morning. I wake up very early, like 5:30. I call her at 6. So I first asked her to speak to our son, and I wake him up. So he hasn't heard from her for 4 years. So that was a bit, that was a touching moment actually. She was asking him, "How tall are you? What's your weight now? How are you doing in school?" And then afterwards, she asked to speak to me separately. And then she asked me to cancel the book launch it's on Tuesday, but that was Sunday. And then she asked me to cancel the book launch.
Did she say why she wanted you to cancel it?
No, she didn't say why. I know she did just say I should cancel it.
I wonder how she heard about that book in the 4 years she was disappeared for.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm actually surprised. The Bureau. There's two things kind of. One is stupid, and one is surprise. Stupid part is some bureaucrats just in Beijing. They must imagine that you can disappear the book like China, right? In a snap of a finger, books are coming off the bookshelf across China. I mean, you call me on Sunday, the book's supposed to come out on Tuesday. Now the books are already in the bookstore or on the way to bookstore. Even I want to do anything, it's beyond my hand. So it's kind of ridiculous to even make that request. And then surprise is looking back, it's really surprising. They are, for once they're acting so quick, so efficiently. The articles come on Tuesday, on Friday, and then should appear within a day.
Yeah, I mean, if you could have pulled the book, would you have?
No, I wouldn't. I mean, I didn't start the book for publishing. I mean, I started a book a year after her disappearance as a gift for my son. And I wasn't thinking of publishing it because, I know how personally costly it will be, if I publish something like that. So I was just writing a book because my son was, getting 9 years old. He'd go online. He searched about his mom because she wanted to know who she is, what she have done, why she has been disappeared. So that was that, so I said, well, instead of you getting all the rumors off the internet, let me give you a gift that's my account of who we are and what we have done. And then in my view, it's, you can stand up tall and nothing to be ashamed of. That was my starting point of writing the book.
Well, what was the story you wanted to tell your son in the book?
I would just, I think I would just want to say things I see it, say things what I experience, and what, just lay it all out. As you probably, as you have read the book, and I'm not really making accusation on, this and that. I'm just saying this is what happened. This is what I done. This is what I saw. This is what I experienced. This is what I feel at the time.
And clearly that really threatens the Chinese Communist Party.
Yeah, apparently so.
Yeah. Now, you had said earlier that your rise mirrored the Communist Party's financial rise. Could you explain a bit about what you mean by that and some of the specific experiences that you've had over the last couple of decades in China?
I think, I went to China, start traveling to China in the early 90s. And, I was the first batch of private equity professionals going to China. I was working for a US firm. And at the time, I remember, we were mostly investing in foreign company going to China. And then we were trying to invest into private enterprises in China. But at the time, it's tiny. All the companies are tiny. I mean, in the early 90s, if they do like a couple millions in revenue, a private company, that's considered sizable, sizable companies. And today, obviously, you look at, Evergrande, right? You're talking about 2 trillion RMB, so what, 300 million of debt, right?
Right.
300 billion.
Yeah, it's a really 300 billion of debt. It's just a very different scale now, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what's interesting is that I know as you were doing business in China, you were actually pretty well politically connected.
Yeah, well, it all. When I first started, I wasn't. I was just, this foreign educated kids from Hong Kong coming back to the homeland and then trying to do something. And I moved to Beijing in '97. The company, the U.S. company, actually moved me to Beijing to run their office in Beijing and Shanghai. And I left the company in 2000 and sort of tried my hand in the entrepreneurial rank. And it's after meeting Whitney, that's when I sort of seeing what's behind the curtain and behind the doors. By the time I met her, I had been running around in China for 10 years, right? I mean, I've been, doing business in China for 10 years. I mean, we did not small deals, right? I mean, we invest, I was involved in the first internet. It's still listed. It's the first Chinese tech company listed on NASDAQ. And I was involved in that. So, I have plenty of experience doing business in China by that time. But until I met her, as I lay out in the book, I don't really know how to speak to this group of people. I mean, they have a lot of coded languages. I don't really know how to behave. I was behaving just like, a regular person would behave in a free world. But actually, you go into a room with this group of people, everything changed. You speak a different kind of language. You sit differently. You behave differently. You knock your wine glasses differently with them. It's an entire different experience. And then until somebody sort of introduce you to that world and guide you along the process, you wouldn't able to do it.